Hello everyone, welcome to our final day of our Love and Courage class to go. This is a class to go that I'm featuring in the second half of September. If you want to get this class to go for free, all you need to do is place an order in my online store that is a minimum of $50 before tax and shipping and after any rewards. There are bonuses for $100 and $150. You can check out all of the details on that in my video description, or you can click over to my blog, which is also linked in the video description for all the details. I'm featuring the Love and Courage stamp set. This is a new stamp set in our mini catalog this month. $3 of every stamp set sold will be donated from Stampin' Up to breast cancer research around the world. So this is a great stamp set to get. It does a lot of good, and we made some gorgeous cards this week. So let's go over real quick what we made this week. Day 1, we made this fun slider card. Day 2, we made this Z-fold card. Yesterday we made this quick and easy. It was so much fun, right? Quick and easy. We made this card, really fun. And today we're making another really fun card. We're going with some bold reds. We're going to use Poppy Parade, and we're going to make a shaped card with those Everyday Arches dies. Isn't that fun? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the stamping on this one. So I have the inside piece of our card here. We're going to stamp the greeting on that. And then I also have a circle that has been die cut from the Spotlight on Nature dies. We're going to stamp that that flower on the outside. Now the hope and the little ribbon that goes on the inside, I have already stamped, and I've already started fussy cutting this one. So the hope is actually fussy cut on white, and then we mounted it on black, and we're going to fussy cut it again. So you're going to fussy cut this one twice. Now, if you don't want to fussy cut this, then that's okay. You don't have to. You can add like a strip of white here with just hope on it. You can put hope on the inside. You can leave it off, whatever you want to do. You can stamp it on black over the flower. You can white heat emboss it on black and pop it up. Whatever you want to do. If you're not a fussy cutter and you really don't want to fussy cut words, you don't have to. But we're going to fussy cut that together. But let's go ahead and get our stamping done. So let's start with our big one. I'm using Poppy Parade ink because we have our Poppy Parade card base. So make sure this is inked up really well. We want the whole image this time. And we're going to stamp this on our circle. I'm going to try to make sure I get it all in the circle. And I know I'm stamping this upside down. I'm sure people are like, it's upside down, but it's okay. It's a circle. We'll just mount it the correct way. Beautiful. I love Poppy Parade. I think hands down, Poppy Parade is my most favorite red. Hands down. I love it. Okay, let's stamp the greeting on the inside. It's okay to not be okay. And then we're going to stamp the little heart right next to it. Okay, right above it. And I want to make sure that I stamp that off first. So I'm going to grab a piece of scratch paper. And I want my heart stamped off just so that it's a little bit lighter, so it doesn't interfere with the greeting. All right, that's it. I'm going to put my Poppy Parade ink away. As much as I love this color, I don't want to put my hand in it. And if it stays out, we all know my hand is going to be dunked in that ink pad. All right, let's go ahead and fussy cut this. I'm going to grab my scissors. So I used liquid glue to adhere this down onto my black. And I just want a thin border of the black. Now, I have given you some fussy cutting tips in the past, especially when cutting words. Use a pencil and trace the outline, and that way you have a line to follow. Now, on black, that's going to be a little bit harder to see, but you can still do that. You can even do it with like a white gel pen and maybe trace the outside a little bit bigger than you want it cut, and then just cut on the inside of that white gel pen. Or white colored pencil, that would work too. I'm just going to kind of eyeball this because it doesn't have to be super perfect. I know it's not going to be perfect, and I'm okay with that. But I'm just going around the words very carefully, and I am turning the paper. I'm not moving my scissors. My scissors are staying nice and straight in my dominant hand, and I am staying in the center of my blade as much as possible because it's going to be sharper in the center of the blade than it is at the very tip. So if you cut in the center of your blade, then you're going to have a little bit more success getting nice smooth cuts. All right, now the inside of the H is the hardest part. If you want to leave that part out or you don't want to do that, that's okay. You do you. You can leave that part out. I'm okay with that. So whatever you're comfortable with cutting out is up to you. But I'm just going a little bit on the outside of that white. And this is just going to make this stand out just a little bit more than just the white die cut or just the white fussy cut. So isn't that pretty? And that didn't take too long. You guys can do it. I know you can. Fussy cutting gets easier with practice. So if you're sitting there going, I'm really not good at fussy cutting. Fussy cutting's not my thing. I can't do fussy cutting. I think you might just need some practice. So get out there and do some practicing. Stamp a bunch of images and just practice. All right, let's talk about our actual card base. So I have 2 of the Everyday Arches dies cut out here in Poppy Parade. So I'm going to grab one for the inside, and we're going to adhere this down before we start making our card base. So let's start with this little piece of DSP. So this DSP that we're using is the lovely Garden DSP. This one was released in an online exclusive a while ago. I've used this one a ton. I love the black and white patterns on this one. We're using the those leaves. So I've used this one a ton though. I think I've gone through 2 or 3 packages of this just in like personal use because it's so good. You have a little 3/4 inch strip of this, and we're just going to stick this on the bottom, which I just put on crooked. So let's see if we can adjust that a little bit. Okay, much better. And just trim off any excess. Okay. And then we're going to adhere this to the inside of our card. I'm going to use a nice strong adhesive. I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus. I'm going to make sure that I get nice coverage along the very top of that arch because it may or may not interfere with our fold. We'll have to see. But I want to make sure that it's nice and adhered down. So that is the inside of our card. Let's do the outside as well, as long as we're just making these little arches here. So the card base is actually die cut with the largest arch. And then these 2 arches are the 3rd largest arch, so they all layer up nice and easy. Okay, before we get on to the rest of this, although let me stick this on. This goes on the inside of our card. So let's stick that on. That goes right there. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my paper trimmer. You can get your Simply Scored as well. The paper trimmer is just nice and handy for me right now, so I'm just going to grab the paper trimmer. So I'm going to put this in, and when I'm measuring for under 1 inch, I generally measure on the right side, and I'm just going to put the very top of that arch just right at that 1/2 inch line. And I'm going to take my scoring blade. That's the light colored one. The dark colored is the cutting. The light one will score. And I'm just going to score the back side. So this is going to be the inside of our card. That's the one I'm scoring. We only need to score 1, and I find it easier to score the inside one. Okay, I'm going to give this a little burnish. We're going to fold this in both directions. So I'm going to start by folding it in this way. Okay, and then we'll fold it back this way. Okay. And folding it in both directions is really going to help your card open and close a lot easier. All right, this one I am going to use liquid glue for. I want something super strong. So I'm going to do liquid glue, and I'm just putting it on that arch just above the score line. All right, and we will line these up. These are the exact same size, so they will fit perfectly together. And we're just going to give that a little burnish. We're going to make sure that that's nice and secure. And once the glue is completely dry, it will open and close just like that. You can always cut this. You know, I've seen people do some strategic cutting where they don't cut the very top edge, but then you're left with like an arch with the top cut off. And I'd rather have like a full card with that arch. So this is just an easy way to get that. Okay. All right, let's get our stamped piece down. I'm going to use some dimensionals for this. I'm not going to put dimensionals all the way on the right side because a tiny bit of it's going to hang off. So I'm going to make sure that it stays, you know, the dimensionals stay contained. Now I do want this circle to hang off a little bit, but if we hang it off too much, it's not going to fit in the envelope. So I'm actually going to figure out how far it can hang off. I was using my measurements on the bottom. And we're just going to hang it off a little bit because you want to make sure that it'll still fit in the envelope. But I like when we have a smaller shaped card like this that we can really get we can get strategic with it. Okay, for the H, actually, let's grab some mini dimensionals. I think the mini ones will fit. If you have black dimensionals, go ahead and pull those out because those will be great. I am only putting them on this, on the H, on the left side of the H. And then we'll use some liquid glue on the other end of the greeting, on the P and the E, because it's going to kind of hang over a little bit. And we want to make sure that the full H is supported. So we put the dimensionals on this side so that it's the same level as this piece. And then we just put the liquid glue on that side. So everything is nice and secure. The whole greeting is secure. And everything is at a good level. All right, our final touch for this card, glue dots for our sequins. Remember, we're using the gold sequins this month. If your order is $150 more, you're going to get an entire package of these for free. And you guys, they're going to last you forever. They're fantastic. They're great for shaker cards. They're great for just adhering little pops of shine to cards like this. And the first 2 days we use liquid glue, which works really well, excuse me. But for these last couple of days, I've been using glue dots, and I gotta say, I love the glue dots. I love adhering these with glue dots. They're so quick and easy. Both ways work. It's just a preference of what you want to do. All right, guys, and that is our final card. So you guys, this one, again, we're wrapping this up with a simple card, but I think it stands out as a really bold card because of the fun shape. Those really bold greetings. The red, black, and white is always, always a winning color combination. All right, so let's take a look at all the cards we made this week. So this was day 3, day 2, and our first day. So if you want to get this class to go, if you want to make these gorgeous cards, go ahead and place that order by September 30th in my online store, and I will mail you the entire kit for free. Remember, you get extra benefits at $100 and $150. If you have any questions on the class, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. All the details are on my blog, which is linked in the video description. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That really helps me out. And I really appreciate all of you who are subscribers. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope to be back soon with some more videos. And I'll be back in October with some more classes to go. So have a great rest of your day, and thank you guys so much. Bye.